Hi, friends. I wanted to talk today about one of the most common confusions on the so-called path to awakening. The antiquated misunderstandings around worthiness, grace, and fortune. Obviously, all three of these are just concepts, and all three could only emerge from identifying yourself as a separate me, separate from the whole. Immediately following our apparent birth, there is only life and wholeness. There is no awareness of separation. And sometime during early childhood, we formulate the concept of a separate me, separate from everybody else and all of life, this everything. Consciously, or subconsciously, this gives immediate rise to a feeling that we have somehow been abandoned by the Creator or creation, left alone in this world. Even if we have loving parents, good friends, family, and partners, ultimately we must fend for ourselves in a life that seems challenging or downright cruel. So there's this constant underlying feeling, conscious or unconscious, of why am I on my own here? Why did God abandon me on this adrift ship, this crazy, confounding place? Naturally, right behind this comes the question of worthiness. I must be unworthy. I must be unworthy. Before I was born, wasn't I in heaven at the right-hand side of God experiencing eternal bliss and peace? All of a sudden, I find myself abandoned on this impossible planet, alone in a hostile universe. So I must be unworthy somehow. I must need to do something, some rigorous practices or good deeds to once again prove my worthiness to God so I can re-earn God's grace and get back to eternal peace. Then, of course, people make this terrible misunderstanding the foundation of all their religions. I must be a good, faithful supplicant, or I will be abandoned to an even worse place, hell, or purgatory, or eternal darkness. Or, on their paths to enlightenment, I must practice diligently, countless hours of stilling my mind in meditation and purification practices, giving up all attachments and desires, and living an austere or even ascetic life before I will be worthy for liberation again, so that being finally looks down and bestows its grace upon me and grants me enlightenment. But there is only one, the whole, all of life itself. Separate entities having their own separate individual lives is just an appearance. Just as in reality there are no separate drops, only the vast ocean, moving and undulating as a single whole. There is no one. So there is no one to be either worthy or unworthy of being free. This whole is already what is, already complete and immaculate exactly as it is. And it is all there is, everything. How could this everything become more or less worthy of being one with everything? How could the whole abandon itself or any part of itself? What part would not still be the whole? And where could the whole put it? You see, everything is apparently moving and flowing exactly as it should be, as one unit. Nothing has been abandoned. Nothing is alone. Therefore, nothing needs to attain worthiness. And there could be no separate supreme entity or creator that bestows any special dispensation called grace on any other part of itself. Both the concepts of worthiness and grace are total illusions. Even so, still identifying themselves as a separate me, even the so-called advanced spiritual seekers and practitioners look around enviously at parts of the whole they think are more advanced, more special, more enlightened than they are, and wonder why those lucky ones attain total peace and liberation while they themselves don't seem to have made much progress. Were they more worthy? Were they born smarter, more pure, more sensitive, more spiritually advanced? Or is it that they have burnt up more karma from past misguided lives? Did this make them somehow more worthy? Did grace grant them more attention and acceleration of their awakening? Or are they simply more fortunate? Is it just a question of luck? Now, if you're holding on to any of these old beliefs and notions, drop them right now. If you even find yourself talking about worthiness or fortune, immediately realize you're speaking of a duality between the one and some imagined separate part of the one that doesn't exist. I also suggest and invite you to release attributing anything good in your life, all good events and spiritual gifts, to grace. A separate God that grants sweet things to the worthy and fortunate, and then withholds love and grace from others less worthy and fortunate, is simply an old, misleading, fear-based fantasy. A child's fictional bedtime story. This whole being is all there is. Nothing need change or be improved upon. Nothing need get enlightened. There is nothing to attain and no separate ones to attain it. So there is no one to ever be the recipient of more or less grace, more or less luck and fortune, and no one to be more worthy or less worthy of love and liberation. In reality, you are already totally liberated and totally free. And you are love. Every atom and molecule of everything within you and around you is glowing with radiant love. It is the nature of being, and you are that. Join us for our Sunday satsangs. They're free and all are welcome. Or contact me through the email, teja@toawaken.org, for questions or private consultations. It's always nice to spend time with you. Thank you for being here, and we'll talk again soon.